Fortnite has been out for almost 5 years, so naturally people have had time to get better at the game over time. And on top of that, the player count has been increasing, leaving the lobby with a lot more sweats. And let's face it, sweats are sweats for a reason. They play the game a lot and they're likely not going to stop anytime soon. And this is just because they simply love the game. So if you still enjoy playing and want to get more wins and win more gunfights, then you're going to have to get better too. But you might be thinking, how do I do that? You're not a streamer and you don't have 8 hours to play every day. Am I just doomed to be bad at the game forever? Well, a little over 3 years ago, I had these same thoughts. I was on console and let's just say I sucked. I was losing a lot of gunfights. I couldn't seem to make the right rotation. And as everyone else got better, I became more frustrated with the game. I was a shell of the man that once smiled ear to ear from dropping to the map every single day. The game was quickly becoming no fun. So desperate and not really sure what to do, I thought of becoming the unthinkable. If I couldn't win my gunfights or get wins anymore, I would have to fully give in to the darkness. But then I thought, no way am I gonna do that. I'm gonna figure this out. So that's exactly what I did. I went from a 1.18 KD to a 4.27 KD. Even though I go to school every day and have a part-time job,
no, check the lace lines? No.
I figured out a way to maximize my improvement in just a little amount of time. And I did this all through an effective practice routine.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
And I did this all just by aim training. And I know aim training on controller gets a bad rep because you don't really need it because you have aim assist, when that's simply not the case. People think it's boring and it can be a waste of time if you're not practicing correctly. But trust me, even if you're a working parent with only 15 minutes a day to play the game, or a certified demon with 8 hours a day to grind, if you follow these 4 tips, you'll see insane improvement in no time. It was the height of the pandemic, and like many of y'all, I was addicted to Fortnite. This was my first Battle Royale game, and there was nothing more sweet than getting a win on that map with the boys. But because I was new to this style of game, getting high kills and getting wins was really hard for me. So naturally, I turned to YouTube for help, and it was at that point when my world completely changed. I knew that there was players better than me, but I didn't know how much better than me. I started watching pro Fortnite players like Unknown Army and Reed dropping more than 30 kills a game. And I didn't even know being that good was even possible. They couldn't seem to miss, and their edits and building was impeccable. And I immediately knew I would do whatever it takes to be that good. I found some videos with some tips on how to get better, and I immediately got to work. I was shooting bots every day. I learned how to do a mongrel classic, and wouldn't you know it, I learned how to get better. My KD went up and I started to win more build battles than I normally would. And I was overall really happy with my progress. But a few months later, and after I got my PC, my improvement started to plateau. I would have days where my edits and aim felt really good, then the next day, I couldn't even do a 90. I got better, I just wasn't consistent. And it took me a while to realize it, but it was the way that I was practicing that held me back. I needed to focus on mindful repetition and not mindless repetition. And this is exactly what I did. Instead of spending hours in Raiders aim training map, I would just free build for 15 to 20 minutes when I got on. Remember, it's not about how long you practice, it's about how you practice. So I would free build and learn retakes that I would use in an actual game in a real build battle. I wasn't worried about being too flashy, I was just worried about getting the kill. I would consistently practice mongrel classics and Thrifold cones to get the muscle memory down. You don't have to practice for hours and hours on end. If you practice for 15 to 30 minutes every day, I promise you'll show results.
Oh my god, I cheat. Oh my god, oh my god.
Remember, consistency is key. This way of practicing gave me a clear focus and helped me avoid distractions so I can get the most out of my practice time. Because I wasn't just mindlessly shooting bots, I was mindfully repeating practice drills for improvement. And as I got better, I slowly started to clip my gameplay because I thought I was gonna start dropping high kill games and hitting crazy clips all the time.
I'm going crazy, stop, please!
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself, but my foolishness actually worked in my favor because when I watched back my gameplay, I started to realize all the mistakes that I made. I quickly saw that my building and editing wasn't nearly as good as some of the top players. I was a decent player, but I wasn't a pro yet.
Oh my god, I'm the best.
I constantly put myself in bad situations and I didn't have the gun skill to fight myself out. So as I started recording myself every day, I would watch back my clips as I queued into a new game. So I started asking myself, is my positioning good? Could I have made a better edit on that wall? Are my callouts as good as clicks?
What is this wipe? He's won.
But asking myself these questions and comparing myself to these better players got me better and better as a player. But why? Well, it's the same reason why athletes watch film to prepare for the next game. You can identify patterns and information and store it in your memory, which allows you to respond quickly in different situations when you're in a game. So by repeating the process of analyze, reflect, and then come up with a plan of action, you will get better as a player. And this is exactly how I developed my game sense. And the good thing is, I mainly did this during the downtime of my matches or when I was editing a video. By using these 2 tips, my skill improved dramatically over the next few months. So I stopped playing zone wars, box fights, and creative, and I actually switched to real game. And that's when I started seeing improvement in every part of my gameplay. My aim was feeling consistent, my edits and building felt smooth, and I started making smarter rotations.
No. Don't let me die.
And this confidence led to me dropping my first 20 kill game. And I can't even begin to describe that feeling. All the time I spent practicing over the past year, it had finally paid off. I had finally got a taste of success in public matches, so now I want to test my luck and see how I would do in arena. I was desperate for even more. I knew it was going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I didn't realize what I put myself into. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. And no matter what I did, I couldn't hit Unreal. And each season, my frustration grew just a little bit more.
What? This is too much.
It just didn't make sense. I was winning most of my gunfights and making smarter plays. But despite getting close in a few seasons, it was just never enough. It just had to be the game. The servers were too laggy, players camped too much, my lobbies were way too sweaty. I just couldn't do it, and it was driving me insane. I was down, but I wasn't quite yet out. See, I learned from playing sports at an early age that it's not always about the result. It's about the journey and the persistence to get better. Now, I'd be lying if I say I didn't have thoughts about quitting at this time, but I had simply come too far for that. And after some thought, I realized it was my frustration that was holding me back.
My God!
I had to resubscribe from the 1% improvement mentality. Some days I'm gonna get tough lobbies, and other days, I'm just not gonna get good loot. But what I can control is getting 1% better each week. Even though Fortnite changed the way Arena works completely, I was still dedicated to hitting Unreal. So back to the drawing board. I spent hours looking at the top players in Unreal. I looked at where they landed, what was their loot rotation, and which guns did they specifically have in their loadout. So over time, I kept re-queuing, and I did die a lot, but I didn't let that frustrate me. And eventually, I reached my goal. I hope these 4 tips helped you get better as a player because they certainly helped me.